In this lecture, we will see the generalized form of correlative level coding, or also known as partial response signaling. We have already seen two classes of partial response signaling, class 1 or duobinary coding and class 4 or modified duobinary coding. So this is a generalized form. So you can see there are a large number of delay units. So as we see from the figure, the input to the block is the binary is the palm signal, pulse amplitude modulated signal AK. So that is given to a large number of delay on it, and each delay on it, and each of this is associated with a weight W, W0, W1, etc. to Wn minus 1, and all these are given to a summer, and the summed output is given to the ideal Nyquist channel, which is sampled to get the output multi-level sequence. So this is a general method. So all the classes of the partial response signaling can be achieved by using this generalized structure. So a impulse response h of t can be represented as a linear combination of, that is a weighted linear combination, that is weighted linear combination of the ideal Nyquist sync pulses. So I can write in the h of t, that is a partial response signaling. For all the classes of partial response signaling, I can represent h of t as a weighted linear combination sigma w now ideal Nyquist channel, that is sync of t by td minus n. Now you consider this is a generalized block. So consider when you have a class 1 partial response. Class 1 is also known as duobinary. In class 1 you have the weight W0 equal to 1 and W1 equal to 1. So in the generalized form you just substitute W0 equal to 1, that is this equal to 1 and W1 equal to 1. So all others are 0, or you have only these two blocks. Okay, now this is AK, this is AK. So the output over here is AK into 1. So it is AK. Then output from this branch is, this is having a delay unit 1. So it is AK minus 1. So AK minus 1 into 1. So here it is AK minus 1. So here you have a summer. So the summer output CK will be equal to AK plus AK minus 1. So this was the expression for a duobinary coding. So in duobinary coding you have to substitute W0 and W1 equal to 1. Similarly, for modified duobinary coding, you substitute W0 equal to 1, W1 equal to 0 and W2 equal to minus 1. So you can see in this case what is a modified duobinary coding. So you have the condition, that is W0, that is you have W0 equal to 1 and W1 equal to 0 and W2 equal to minus 1. So when you substitute this, here you get this AK, here you have 0 and here you have minus AK, here is AK minus 1. So having one more delay unit is AK minus 2. So it will be minus of AK minus 2. So your output CK from here will be sum of these three, that is AK plus 0 minus of AK minus 2. So this is what we have seen in the case of a modified duobinary coding. So this is a generalized form. So any class of partial response signaling can be implemented using this generalized form by substituting different values of weight. So this table actually shows the different classes of partial response signaling. Class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4 and class 5. We have already studied class 1 in which W0 equal to 1 and W1 equal to 1, that is a duobinary signaling. And we have studied class 4. Class 4 is a modified duobinary signaling in which we have W0 equal to 1, W1 equal to 0 and W2 equal to minus 1. And you have the different values of N. You see n is this term, that is you have when n equal to 2, you will be having W2 minus 1, that is you have W1, you will be having only these two blocks, W0 and W1. So in duobinary you can see the value of n equal to 2, and in modified duobinary the value of n equal to 3. You have one more block, n equal to 3. Similar is the case, you have different cases. Class 2, you have different values of weight and different values of N, and for class 3 again you have different values of width. So these are the different classes of partial response signaling. Now the useful characteristics of partial response signaling, or the advantages of partial response signaling is that the binary data can be transmitted through a channel with a rate closest to the implicit rate. We have seen the implicit rate condition, it was actually practically impossible, and when you consider the race cosine, we change the bandwidth, we increase the bandwidth in a range from W to 2W. But in the case of correlative level coding or the partial response signaling, you can transmit at the same rate as that of the implicit rate. That is a main advantage, and you can use a reliable filters which is having gradual cutoff characteristics. And one more advantage is you have seen when you have class 1, you will be having one spectral shape, that is that of a cosine, and you have a DC component. When you use the modified orthogonality, you have the sine, and that the DC component is 0. So the different spectral shapes can be produced according to your application at hand. So these are the main two useful characteristics or advantages of partial response signaling. Now we see just one problem, that is a communication channel of bandwidth 75 kilohertz is required to transmit a binary data at a rate of 0.1 megabits per second, and it is using raised to cosine pulse. We have to determine the roll of factor alpha. So in this case you are given the bandwidth as 75 kilohertz. Okay, and it is given it is a raised to cosine pulse. We are using raised to cosine pulse. So for raised to cosine, you know the expression for bandwidth, is it? So you can use the bandwidth for a raised to cosine. You know, for a raised to cosine, the bandwidth is varies from W to 2W, or it is having the general format W plus alpha W. You know that. Okay, so that is given as 75. So W plus alpha W is given as 75. Then in the question, it is given the rate as 0.1 megabits per second. Bits per second is a unit for rate RB. Okay, so you are given RB as 0.1 megabits per second. You know the rate equal to 1 by time period, so 1 by TB. Okay, so from this you can find TB. TB is 1 by RB. So you will get the value for TB. Okay. Now, what is asked in the question is you have to find out the roll of factor alpha. So in order to find out the roll of factor alpha, you have to know the value for W. You know TB. So you know the relation between W and TB. W is 1 by 2 TB. Okay. So you substitute here, you substitute TB here, you will get the value for W. Okay. You will get the value for W. That value of W you substitute in this expression. Value of W you substitute in this expression and you get it to 75 kilohertz, so that you will get the value for alpha.